time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York. Welcome to the multi-award winning Coming In Hot, brought to you by Bet365. Yorkie, huge game today. Graeme Nichols is going to join us shortly. He's just getting back home from dropping his car off at the dealership. Anyway, I'm sure we'll get into that in the daily chit chat. Nice to see you, sir.
Good to see you too. Yeah, another game day. I'm a little tired this morning. I can't even imagine how the players must feel right now, because they've been going since the Four Nations break, just going, playing. They'll play tonight, come back, probably have a little skate, get back on the horse again. So exciting times here in Ottawa. You were down at the rink yesterday, though, weren't you?
Yeah, lots coming up. By the way, you talk about just the grind. The dad strip is coming up.
That's the dads will be grinding. The dads will be grinding on that one. I've had a few of those, and
they did give them
so much fun.
The Buffalo Detroit trip.
That's good. Detroit's an amazing arena. That'll be
Detroit's
a great trip.
Amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Buffalo dads go for some wings, some good beers. It's a good dad. So Buffalo Detroit's got a good dad vibe to it. You know, kind of like dad bod. Lots of dad bods in Buffalo. Over to Detroit. That'll be good. The dads don't care. They just want to watch hockey, drink beers, get on the road, get on that plane. I remember when I was in Boston, my dad had passed away. So my brother, Jeff, who's now part owner of the Sens, came on the trip. And I brought him back to the card game. Jeff played in the card game, and so did Mark Savard's dad. So we got Mark Savard's dad. We got my brother. We got Mark Savard, Phil Kessel, Glenn Murray, Tim Thomas, Marco Sturm, Taco. We're all in the card game, and Jeff still talks about it, how much fun it was back there playing cards, and Savard's dad in there grinding away. But it's great. It's just they get a little picture of what it's like on the road, and you know, I love how some teams do the mom's trip now too, because that's pretty cool when the moms get out there. But it's different. The moms love to sing. There'll be no singing from the dads. You always see those.
You never know. Some guys like a good karaoke.
Yeah, but usually not in the rink. Who was it I saw last year? I think it was the Habs moms. Was it last year? They all got in there and they were singing and stuff. It's great. It's fantastic. But no, it'll be fun. That's got a good dad vibe to it. A little Buffalo Detroit action will be great.
So yes, I was at the rink yesterday. Learned a couple of things.
What'd you learn?
One was the dad's trip, which because I scheduled an interview in the wrong time. So this will lead to what our interview is tomorrow, and someone got a new mug. So
what? That's big.
Yeah.
Somebody on the Sens player got a mug?
A Sens player got a coveted Coming In Hot mug. So
let me guess. It's got to be the Drake Batherson.
Drake has a mug.
He's got a mug. Is this somebody that's coming on the show with us tomorrow who's getting that mug?
There's now 4 players.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mugs, 4 Coming In Hot mugs in circulation at this coming moment, Wally. So we've got the Drake. Who's mug 2?
Well, you get
Cousins?
Josh.
Well, he's not on the Sens anymore. He doesn't count.
Okay, but
Wally, you've got to let it go. You've got to.
He's not on the Sens.
Have you been going to your counseling? Listen, we had a deal. You told me you were going to go to counseling and for grief.
So, Thomas Chabot.
Okay, Chabot.
That's 3.
Yeah.
So, I had scheduled one player to come on. We've talked about it for like 3 months and just couldn't coordinate the right times because we do our show live, which is not always easy to work around player schedule. So we had set it up for this coming Monday because I saw there was a break, but I had the games backwards. I thought they were at home instead of on the road. So I thought it was a day off, but they're on the road. So I'm like, we're going to have to switch this. And then that's when I get told it's the dad trip, blah, blah, blah. So tomorrow, Tim Stutzle will join the show.
Oh, Wally, you've outdone
4 p.m.
yourself here. Fantastic. 4 p.m.
Yeah.
We're going to build up to that all day long. Pump up the
And
show.
we're going to give away stuff in the show, including tickets to Colorado on Thursday. So we wanted to bring him on because we felt he needed a bit of a bump. He hasn't been playing that great of late, so he could use the pod.
Pod bump. He needs a pod bump. Did he like wave you over in the dressing room?
So
you were stalking him. There was I saw yesterday on X. There was a video footage of Timmy skating around with Mike.
Oh my God!
What are these two talking about at the moment? I'm pretty sure I know what they're talking about, Wally, from the tweet from yesterday. They're like, who is that quote unquote lovable asshole that's taping it?
No, that's not it. Speaking of Tim at practice, he kept I saw him. I looked over. He's changing his blades on the bench. Not uncommon in practice. He gets on the ice and falls. Goes back, changes his blades, comes back, scores on a breakaway, goes back to the bench, changes his blades, come back, scores another goal, and then I believe changes his blades one more time. He was working in new skates yesterday, but for whatever reason, the blades were not up to snuff. So he did, in typical hockey player fashion, take a shot at the equipment staff, saying, "You guys were off yesterday."
He was mad about the blades.
So aside from that, his stallmate is one Matthew Highmore. And if you remember in the show yesterday, we called him a rat.
Yes. Rat face.
So I was a tad concerned going into the room this morning, yesterday. So I saw him walk by me and I'm like, I just want to let you know, in case you see it somewhere, we called you a rat in the show yesterday. And he started to chuckle, thank God. So I sat down and I'm like, here, we had some other designs, but here's the picture. And he's like, oh, that's pretty good. I enjoyed it. He was like, you got to have a little fun. I'm like, yeah. And sometimes we have a little too much fun. So then I said, it's because of you. I said, Yorkie loved the way that you were smiling in the corner. So he told me the story about the hit.
Okay.
So he and Oliver Ekman-Larsson played together in Vancouver.
Okay,
so he goes, I know
him.
He goes, we played together. He goes, on the forecheck, I hit him, like bumped him, checked him, whatever. It was a very innocent play. It was whatever. He goes, but he didn't like it. So Highmore said in the game, he goes, I'm here all game, OEL. And nothing ever happened. The Saturday night, at the opening face-off, from that point on, OEL kept saying, I'm here all night. And so Highmore goes, I knew it was coming.
Yes.
I knew the hit was coming. And he goes, he got me on the chin. He did get me hard, but he goes, I knew it was coming. So that's why he was laughing, because of the two of them had history. So that's.
How about that, eh? That's called like rat awareness. When you know, well, no, because listen, players, just to play in this league is tough enough. It's really difficult. This just in, to play in the NHL. Newsflash, it's very difficult to play in the NHL. But the prep the guys do, each shift preparing who you're on the ice against, but to know and be ready, because it's like almost like the game within the game, right? You're playing one game, but when you're playing that kind of on the line game where when you're doing rat like things, you've got to always be prepared for things, because there's guys coming for you, because guys take numbers and they know I gotta get that guy, and then pretty good to know it was coming, but then be prepared for it. So hey, by the way, did Highmore was that the first? He knows people are calling him the rat. Like, he's got to know that. He wasn't surprised when you went to him and said that, was he?
Yeah, I don't think that he's known to be called a rat. So yeah, he.
Well, you know, the original rat is Kenny Linsman, and then there's been a long history of rats throughout the NHL. It's a good thing, because there's so many players that don't stick. Because here's the thing in the NHL: if you're a star, a top draft pick, you're gonna play unless you somehow miraculously screw it up. And then there's like for guys, undersized guys that are late picks and they've been in the minors or up and down, you've got to find a niche so you can stay in the league. You can't just be vanilla because another guy will eventually take your place. So you got to do something that keeps you relevant and then helps your team. And he's found that. I think it's great the way he's playing right now. He's it's really tough to do what he's doing because your spider senses, like I like to call them, they always got to be tingling because there's someone coming for you. So it's a really tough role to play. Very tough.
It's only good if you embrace it.
You got to embrace it.
You got to embrace the ratness.
Yes, you do. So, you do. Embrace the rat. Embrace it.
All right. Graham is
he's
struggling to get home. He's currently on the eastbound on the 417. We'll
coming on his way to Carp. He's still on the 417. He's still got to get to the village of Carp. That's going to take him at least 15 minutes.
It'll be reflected in his pay.
Okay, dock him.
He may have to give the mug back.
So is that does Graham? So is there 5 mugs in circulation counting Graham?
No.
We've got the Drake.
We went through the 4 players.
So 4 players, and now Timmy's number 4. Timmy's got the 4th mug.
Yeah.
Is he gonna have? Is Timmy gonna have the mug handy when he's on? Is he a coffee guy or is he like?
I don't know.
Guy?
I don't even know if he wanted it. I just forced him to take it.
Did he happily take the mug when you gave it to him?
Yes.
This is great. Like big smile. Okay.
Yeah. No, we have a lot. Like when we chat, it's usually pretty entertaining because once you take the mic away, it's always a lot more entertaining, right?
Do you think like maybe this could be the one? Like maybe you and Timmy have some potential.
I want to try.
Or is it too soon? Or is it too soon?
I feel like I need to maybe test the waters.
You dip your toe in,
audition.
Okay. Right. Take it slow. Take it slow.
It's tough to and I've tried for Tim for like 3 years. The first few years were really difficult because I wasn't getting a lot of help. And his agent couldn't get him to agree to do on this. Like, he's like, yeah, I'll reach out to him on the summer. And his agent was great, but he was like, I just can't get him to respond. So once
he's playing hard to get.
Yeah. Then he was like, yeah, I love you. Like, and then he made a comment again. He's like, when are you having me on? I'm like, let's get it done.
I think you and I are having 2 different conversations here. You're talking about getting Tim on the show, and I'm talking about you possibly. It could be another rebound thing for you with Josh on.
No, we're not. We are on the same page. Graham, let's just bring Graham in, by the way. I just want to make sure I don't jump back into
I know. Well, Timmy's like a wild stallion. It's tough to rein him in, Wally. I think that might be too much car for you.
Graham, I don't know what you've listened to. It's probably like a Three's Company episode at this moment. Welcome.
What's going on, guys?
Okay.
Who's Larry? That's all I want to know. And when are we going to the Regal Beagle?
You're more of a Mr. Harper. Is that his name? Hooper?
No,
Harper?
it's Mr. Furley. It was
Furley.
Mr. Furley, and then you, my friend, you are Mr. Roper.
That's the guy. I couldn't think of that's the guy.
Stanley Roper. Are you a Three's Company guy, Graham?
No, that's before my time.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
You gotta go back and watch reruns. Listen, I'll save you the trouble. Every single Three's Company episode is like a misunderstanding of something with Jack and Mr. Furley, and then it goes from there. And then they go to the Regal Beagle.
All right, look, can we got to get to let's get to the game.
I know your buddy on X is going to give you shit again. Get to the hockey, goddammit. No more chit chat.
It's 50 minutes in. You guys haven't talked hockey yet?
No. We have.
What's happening?
No. We have. We talked about yesterday at the rink, what things had happened at the rink yesterday. No, we discussed stuff.
We discussed Wally stalking the players, filming them from the glass. Stutzle is wondering what he's talking about. Stutzle's got a mug. There's now 4 mugs in circulation to 4 players. Wally's on the rebound. We're not sure if he's a good match with Timmy, and here's where we're at. This sounds like Bull Durham, We're going to need a chicken. We're going to need, nobody knows what to get them for their wedding present. We've got serious shit we're talking about here.
Can we mute Yorkie yet? Let's get on with the show. Can we?
It's not like there's a big game or anything tonight. Is there a hockey game tonight?
By the way, we got Arbor Xhekaj and Michael Pezzetta arguing in practice yesterday.
I saw that. They hugged it out after, though.
They didn't even hug. It wasn't even nothing. But in Montreal, that is a huge story. So let's get to it. This show brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers. More than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972. Don't forget to get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mine diamonds, and don't pay until 2026. Apply for the Charm Diamond Flexity card today. Get approved for no interest financing on your purchase in minutes. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. Everybody, chosen forever. Charm Diamond Centers.
Is that like? Sounds like my neighbor's alley cat out on the fence there. Just. All right. This show is also brought to you by BEI. With spring right around the corner, it's time for BEI to take care of all your landscaping needs. Maybe you're thinking of redoing that driveway, maybe getting a little stone action or some aggregate. BEI can help you with all those things. So be sure to give them a call at 432-1120 or go to BonisherExcavating.com. BEI is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley.
No. All right. Graham didn't answer me. So last one. Do you think you know hockey? Don't forget to play Sobeys My NHL Picks weekly. For the chance to win big prizes, a new slate of games opens up every Thursday from now until the end of the regular season. So download the Sobeys app, pick the winners of 5 NHL games and compete for your chance to win prizes such as Sobeys grocery offers. I will take that. Up to 150,000 Scene Plus points or the grand prize, a trip of 4 to this year's Stanley Cup final. So if we take Graham now, because Graham's basically part of the family, who's our
Really?
fourth? Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. We've filed the adoption papers.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I've got a home. He's so excited.
Sorry there, Wally. I'm late to the ad reads, late to the show. It's been a hell of a morning.
Yeah. It's okay. We got you.
No.
So who's our fourth? Do we take Eric? Do we take Jake? Do we take Lisa?
Where are we going again? Well, I didn't hear you. Where are we going?
Stanley Cup final.
Oh, God. I don't know. If it's Montreal, we got to take Jake. But I don't know. Montreal's got to get in first.
All right, we're moving on.
Eric's an absolute.
All right,
I think he'd kill you if you didn't take him. I think Eric would kill you if you didn't take him.
Oh, someone says take Josh Norris. I like it.
No, come on, Wally. You can't drag. It's long distance relationships never work. It never work.
Maybe take the guy who tattooed Norris's face on his chest,
God.
so at least he can feel good about something.
What a mess that is. All right, let's move on. Big game tonight. 2 of the hottest teams in the league since the Four Nations face off. Montreal is first in the league, and Ottawa tied for third best winning percentage in the league. 7-1-2 by Montreal. Ottawa 7-2-1. And funny, before Montreal, before the break, they were 1-7-1 and struggling. So it'll be an interesting matchup, as they say. And I will point out to you, the Montreal Canadiens have had their way with the Ottawa Senators this season, and in particular, one Linus Ullmark, who got pulled in one game, who's played 87 minutes of the 2 games and does not have great numbers at all.
Wow.
He's got a 614 goals against and a 780 save percentage. But, gentlemen, do we think that changes this evening in La Belle Province?
Well, last game they had no Brady Tkachuk. That was fresh off the Four Nations. They just seemed to be flat in that game. And Montreal's the type
they
of
went
team-
11-7 that game.
Yeah, they're not going 11-7 tonight. And they had, don't forget too, I believe there was no Pinto and no Norris. So there wasn't a full all hands on deck team for the Senators. There was no workhorse from Whitehorse in the lineup. So ever since they've made those trades, Brady's come back. This team is just playing. They're back to what they do to make themselves successful. I think it's going to be a close game. Think about Montreal is they all collapse in tight and they let you sit on the outside. Montembeault has played extremely well. I still like Ottawa. I know we're not picking lately. I like Ottawa because they're playing with a physical edge now to go along with their structure of playing on top of the puck and good defensively. Montreal trying to outweight you, but that's kind of how Ottawa's playing right now. Just think with the energy, with Brady in the lineup in the Bell Center. This is a huge game for Montreal and saying all that. Like if Montreal wins this game, they are right in the mix and they know it. They're going to be prepared for this. If Ottawa happens to lose it, it's not the end of the world, but it would be great when you got somebody down. You got your foot down there to just give them one little kick to the ribs to put them down. So that's the mindset Ottawa's got to have. But man, oh man, it's this could be a good game.
Yeah, I think Yorkie's bang on. I think like contextually, you look at like the second game of the season, Ottawa's not playing as well as they are now. Allmark obviously sustained some kind of injury that game, and then coming out of the Four Nations break as well. Like as Yorkie mentioned, like you're missing a lot of key players out of that lineup. Allmark's not playing well. Like he's coming off an injury of his own at that time too. So like I think contextually, Allmark's playing great. Like the month of March, he hasn't lost a game. He's like 6-0-1. I think he's like fourth. Money Puck had him fourth, I think, in like the rate of goals saved above expected since the last 20 games. So like he's been lights out for the last little bit. So I'm not really worried about him. And it's like you guys said, it's a huge game tonight. Lots on the line. Montreal should be playing for everything, and I think that's good for Ottawa. I don't think like down the stretch. I know Ottawa's creating like a bit of a points cushion, but like if Ottawa can keep playing in these important games, whether it's just for them or their opponent, I think that's huge. It's like even if they get in that situation where they can get really close to clinching, I think they still need to play those meaningful games just to give them a little bit of an edge going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think?
Are we not giving though enough respect to the Montreal Canadiens?
Well,
Jake's not chiming in the chat, so can't be.
Like seriously though, they've got I think the most 10 goal scorers in the National Hockey League. It's 11 if I'm not mistaken. Maybe
for sure.
Like
they have some speed.
We all think that.
Stuff
Remember that,
well,
but in December, I feel like we were all talking about they're just waiting for the lottery pick and whatever. But
yeah,
like they've done the same thing Ottawa has. It's turned it around. Yeah, but we still kind of like. Yeah, that's nice and all. Now go back and play with your toys in the corner. Like you're not.
No, for sure.
I just don't know that we've given enough respect across the league to what Montreal has been able to do.
Yeah, but I think if Montreal beat Ottawa when they had their full lineup and were playing at a high level, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's really impressive. But like for the two game you're talking about,
and choose what the lineup is.
No, for sure. And I mean, you still have to beat people, but like. Yeah, they're on a heater right now, so that's impressive. And if they win, like Yorkie said, if they win tonight, like that's a great statement game from them. But I think there's just context for the past between in the last couple games.
They're an interesting team because if you look how they're built, right? You look at their like Mike Matheson's their quote unquote number one defenseman, but the story of Lane Hudson, like that's a great story. And if I was picking the rookie of the year right now, I'd probably vote for him. Like I'd vote for him.
Really?
Maybe Wolf out in Calgary. He's been a nice story as well. But I just look at, and he sure he's got some defensive issues. He's small, but the good far outweighs the bad in his game. Like he's a hell of a player. He's been a great story. But the question is, you look at all these players on Montreal's team age group where they've been at. You know, look at Slafkovsky, all these guys. Are they ready to take the next step? We'll see, because now there's going to start be real pressure, right? Before, when you're kind of chasing teams, it's a lot easier to chase than it is when the expectations get, oh shit, we're in that position now. Now let's see what happens when the pressure's on. So
yes,
we'll see. But I totally agree. They've been a great story. I think Suzuki's a hell of a player, Wally. I watched him in the OHL. I remember that series when he played against the Ottawa 67s when they came back. He was unbelievable in that series, how good he was as a junior. I watched his younger brother play with my son and Barry. Suzuki's a heck of a player. We'll see, though. Like I said, this is great. I'm excited we're talking about a couple Canadian teams. And I'd love to see the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs. Like get a couple more Canadian teams in there. But I'll be honest, I don't think they're ready to take that step based on where they are. But who knows? There's always that team that surprises you. But I just think the way Ottawa, if you look at Ottawa's defensemen compared to Montreal's defensemen and you go man for man and you rate your D, Ottawa's got better D. They got better D. And if you look down the middle right now, the way Ottawa's built, compared to Montreal. I'd say Ottawa's just a little deeper now with the trade they made, and they've just got pieces that Montreal doesn't have. But Montreal just seems to find a way. It's weird, Graeme? Like they kind of hang around in games. They hang around.
What Ottawa did. Remember 2015?
Yeah, it's kind of like I call it rope-a-dope hockey. It's rope-a-dope. Take punches, you're taking punches, and all of a sudden you counter and you score. It's very. I don't think you can win like that over time. Like a lot of things have to go right for you. But we'll see. We'll see. This is why we play the games, right?
Yeah. Analytically, they're not like a particularly strong team either.
No, I wouldn't think so.
So, I don't know. It's just smoke and mirrors right now, a little bit, like in terms of success. But I don't know. It's kind of like even like at least with like Washington. I know like when Washington was coming into town, we talked about playing the Capitals and their analytics, and they were sustained by like their shooting percentage and save percentage. But like Montreal, they're not even getting that. It's just they're winning close games. Like they're winning a lot of close games, and they're finding a way. And credit to them for winning games when they have to. But I agree with Yorkie. I think that like this is a team that's probably like another year or two away.
Yeah, I think their save percentage, however, over the last,
they're getting great saves. They're getting good goaltending.
Yeah, I think their goaltending has held them up, which isn't that like show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good hocky team,
right? Show me a bad coach. Show me a bad goalie that plays bad consistently over time, and I'll show you a fired coach. That's how it happens. So
yeah, I agree. Anyway. That was my like. I think this game is a huge game, but if Ottawa can win this game and is it the Rangers lose in Calgary tonight, then they open up a massive gap here, which I think would all but solidify a playoff spot if it's not already.
Columbus losing last night. Like that's what we're doing now. We're scoreboard
what a team
watching.
That's struggling. They've lost 6 of 7, 4 straight.
That's the thing, because of where Ottawa's put themselves at. Like some teams can now shoot themselves in the foot because Ottawa's got that nice little thing, that nice little margin they've built for themselves. It's really the first time in a long time in the season. We talked about this yesterday, Wally, where Ottawa's, you can't relax, but you've got a little bit of breathing room, and there's pressure now on the other teams because they know if they lose, they can actually be out of it. So exciting times.
Quickly, you'll move on to a player who loves to play the Montreal Canadiens. One, Brady Tkachuk, who has lit it up in 29 games, 27 points, likes to play at the Bell Center. We saw that even with the Four Nations, like he goes into that building, he enjoys playing the Montreal Canadiens. It'll be fun to watch if he can continue on, because right now he's playing some of his, I think he's playing some pretty good hockey. People always argue if it's his best hockey or not, but he promised after the Four Nations that he was going to carry this team, and so far he's kind of lived up to those expectations.
Oh, he's been excellent. I love the heading for your font and graphic. That's fantastic. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. That's beautiful. No, he's been really good. Like he's done everything that you can ask of, right? And like to me, like it goes even beyond like Tim Stutzle's been really good. Brady Tkachuk's been fantastic, but like they're getting depth scoring across like all 3 lines, which they haven't really been getting together. They haven't been scoring all together at the same time. And you talk about the second line, you talk about the third line, and it's fun. It's to the point where everybody's healthy and playing at a relatively high level, and they're getting comfortable at the right time. It's hopefully it's encouraging, and hopefully they don't get too hot too soon heading into the postseason. But you have to be encouraged by everything that you're seeing from Ottawa's offense right now.
If you go down their roster right now and you say, why has this team won 6 games in a row? So we got Brady up there as the premier étoile. So if you look and you say Tim Stutzle, arguably playing some of his best hockey this season. Drake Batherson, the little stretch he's on right now, he's playing physical. He's playing like a power forward. He's playing some of his best hockey of the year. Jake Sanderson, what have we been talking about him? He's elevated to another freakish level for Batherson, the man that never gets tired. He's playing some of his best hockey of the year. Ridley Gregg, I think he's probably playing his best hockey of the year. Michael Amadio,
career maybe.
Yeah.
Well, young career. Amadio's playing his best he's played all year. So you go down that entire lineup. I like Shabbat's playing great right now.
Baron's playing really well too.
Baron's playing, and then they've added to the mix another player that plays the style that Travis Green coaches, that plays physical, that brought them size down the middle. So like look at Cousins. He's just the perfect ad for the type of hockey this team plays, because he plays hard, he plays inside the dots, he's big. So there's just a lot of things going right for this team right now. But yes, it's amazing when you go down and look at the list of players. Goaltending, Allmark, is he not playing his best he's played all season? Yes. So there you go. Why is this team playing like that?
Oh, I don't think he is.
I do.
I know he's made great saves, like massive saves.
Wally.
But I think
were you at the Detroit game?
Yes.
That's the best. Like we just said, that's the best performance we've seen since Craig Anderson.
So Yorkie, I'm just telling you, over a stretch of period of time, this is not the best he's played.
You prefer the stretch?
I can show you the numbers. Like
November,
like when he had the 8-game, it was in an 8-game winning streak earlier, right? In December.
Yeah, his save percentage is like 960.
He was best in the league.
Yeah.
So that's anyway. That's all I'm saying, because people will be like, "That's not the best he's played. His goals against is higher than normal."
I think that Detroit game is probably his best game of the season, though. Like,
so I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, because everybody always thinks, and I like numbers, it's not always about the numbers and the save percentage and everything. Because don't forget, Ottawa was playing structurally at that time. They weren't giving up a lot. Like, you don't give a team a bunch of shots, you're usually going to win your games. But it's the key saves at key times he's making right now. Case in point, go back to that game where was it last game? The puck off the boards, he misses it. That was last game, and they end up scoring. The Toronto game. It's what's your reaction after that happens, and also too, like the pressure is higher now. So it's like there's so many circumstantial things to me that I take into account when you're saying, is he playing the best he has played all year? I think he is, because of he's doing it right now, and key saves. Like, what do we always talk about? When's the most important time you need a save? Well, after you do something bad, or when your team needs it late in a period. I just think his clutchness has gotten it's at an all-time high this year. Clutchness. I just invented that word too. Is that a word? Clutchness?
Usually there's one word every show that you invent. You were basically a walking Webster's.
Clutchness. I like his clutchness.
Come for the hockey, stay for the humor. That's what happens here on the talk show. I'm just by the way, Linus Ullmark, the best goal that's been here since Craig Anderson. As much as we like go
high bar, Wally, high bar.
Yeah. Well, that's another point too. Like there's a chat, and I will call out the loud collector. Over time, Ullmark is shaky. Great saves for sure, but come on, still lots to prove here, boys. I'm like, so wait a sec. Would you not want to have Linus Ullmark over any goalie you've had over the last 5 seasons? I would think you'd say yes.
Yeah, of course. Who you take? Who is number 2?
Who's number 2? Levy.
Yeah.
Philip Gustafson had that heater down the stretch for that one season. But like that's
Anton Forsberg. By the way, Forsberg
played really well.
Great for a stretch too. Anyway, so all right. Well,
that's like an old Austin Powers thing. Who is number 2?
I really need to go watch basically all the movies from the 90s. So
you've got no pop culture awareness in your game. None.
By the way, it's funny you said. Remember we were talking about Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
My kid is in a class right now where they are dissecting, if you will, the lyrics that he puts into his songs.
Jeez.
Of how good of a lyricist, lyric writer, songwriter he is.
Lyricist?
He's regarded as one of the best. Anyway,
are you paying for this education?
A lot. Yeah.
So let me guess, your son's going to a school where they're studying Kendrick Lamar. Oh my God, what a waste of
one
time.
of the best prep schools in the country, which by the way, he's fascinated by it. He thinks it's fantastic. Anyway, do you have the Tim's ad read handy, Yorkie?
Yes, I do. Here we go. I got it right in my right hand. Tim Hortons, your favorite contest. It's back. Roll up to rim. Roll up to win is back at Tim Hortons. That means you could win millions of amazing prizes with just the swipe of a thumb. Imagine turning that routine Tim's run into an unforgettable sell-off vacations package, or $1,000 cash prize, or an all-new, all-electric 2025 Volkswagen ID Buzz. Even the simple joy of winning a free coffee or donut can make anyone's day. But you only have till March 23rd. So open up that Tim's app and get rolling. It's your game, Canada. So don't let this chance at millions of amazing prizes pass you by. Play roll up to win on your Tim's app today.
Oh, a second. I gotta tell you if I won or not.
Drum roll.
So what are you now? 2 for 9?
Somewhere in there, yeah. Yeah.
Not bad. You're batting 250. That's not bad. Not bad.
Adam has chimed in. Clutchness, lyricist. Slow down, you guys. I'm taking notes.
Lyricist. Lyricist. Get the Scrabble dictionary out. I want to see if that's a word.
It's got to be a word. It's got to be a word.
100%. 100%.
Okay, so we got to get the dogs are anxiously awaiting to get onto the show. So let's take care of a few things and then we'll get to the dogs. Club EG, Jake, just to help out, and then we'll do Bet365. This show presented to you by Club EG. Club EG, your best bet for amazing golf in and around Ottawa this season. One membership with Club EG gets you access to 60 amazing courses at member-only rates. Check out the course selection online. We're giving away some foursomes to some of the clubs like the Marshes and Equinel, the Sorcier Mountain Creek, Hammond, just to name a few. Go to clubeg.com. Plenty of different packages to suit you. Don't forget, they're also the guys that run plenty of events in and around the Ottawa area, including the PGA America's Tour event at Eagle Creek. Lots to cater to every type of golfer. Clubeg.golf. And of course, breaking news from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365, an official partner of the National Hockey League. Download Bet365 app today and use code NATION, all in uppercase letters. Get in on the game. Must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. So, gentlemen, here are the odds for today's game. This isn't much of a stretch on the bet boost, if you will. Money line for Ottawa to win, Brady Tkachuk to score a goal, Tim Stutzle 1 assist, plus 450. That seems like a given to me.
Yeah, not a bad value bet there, Wally.
I think Tim Stutzle has 24 points in the last 17 games.
Yeah,
Brady Tkachuk seems to score at will in the Montreal building.
Mm-hmm.
I would
take it. Okay. I like that. I do that. I like doing the shots on goal, though. I like taking like 5 guys who I think are going to get shots and do that bet. I find that's a lot, not easier, but I just find the odds are higher when you do shots, especially for Montreal or Ottawa. You can always count on Brady getting at least 3 or 4 shots. It's just like a given.
Yeah, but today the parlay on that was Brady for 3. I think Thomas Chabot for 3. And it was maybe Nick Suzuki or something for 3. The Thomas Chabot doesn't always get to 3. Anyway, it's just that one's harder.
It's going to be tough for D to get shots through tonight too, because you got to get it through like a sea of Montreal jerseys in the slots. So a little tougher to get them through against Montreal. But you play in a team like the Duckies or San Jose, you always take the shots. Or Chicago. A Chicago game coming up. Take shots galore in that game later on in the season.
By the way, I am correct, according to Nighttime Ottawa. Lyricist is a person who writes the words to a popular song or musical.
Is it also do you get a credit in the school your son's at for studying to be a lyricist?
Yeah, you sure do. They're still trying to figure out if clutchness, they're still working all of the Chat GPT and the Webster Dictionary to find your word. I don't know that it's going to be
clutchness. I'll use it in a sentence. Linus Ullmark's clutchness against the Toronto Maple Leafs helped them win that game.
Okay.
Clutchness.
Can we let's start with Charlie.
Let's go, Charlie.
Charlie, we got a big one tonight. Ottawa
winners of 6 in a row. Montreal Canadiens 7-1-2 in their last 10. Two of the hottest teams in the league going head to head. Who are you going with tonight? The Ottawa Senators or the Montreal Canadiens? Who's it going to be?
Oh, no hesitation.
Shirley's going with the Ottawa Senators.
She's on a Sens bender right now, just hammering the Sens lately. That's all she sees. She's been right.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
Okay. Up next, Gert, who doesn't mess around.
Just right to business here, right?
Puppy. You gotta take the Montreal Canadiens, who have won 2 against Ottawa, or the Ottawa Senators.
Look, she just
Wow, not even a decision for you. Just boom. Hey, no hesitation.
You got the colored logos too, right? So now you won't get cracked on for that too.
yeah.
It's extra money though. It's hard on the printer.
Oh, it's extremely hard.
Where does Gertie come from? She always appears from a back room.
So Gertie has the run of the house, but she sits in the living room a lot, and then she sits under the dining room table, and she also has another dog bed over there. So she just wherever she wants, but she likes to look outside, right? As most dogs do. So she was over on the couch, and she heard the treat bowl or the dog bowl thing open, and she knew she was ready to be called into action.
She appears from like a back room and does a grand entrance for this. I like love it.
Put a cape on her. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We don't know your pick yet, Graeme.
Oh, I'm taking Ottawa. Ottawa in OT. I said 4-3 Ottawa.
Oh, an OT.
Oh, well, imagine that. That'd be a great night.
The old loser
game.
point. The old loser point for Montreal. Keeps them a little bit happy.
Brady loves to score an OT. I think Brady has 2 game-winning goals against the Montreal Canadiens.
I think Ottawa typically does really well in OT, don't they?
Yeah, and by the way, Ottawa had won 8 straight against the Habs until they've dropped these last 2 here this season against.
So are we saying we're going to go a step further? Giroux takes the opening face-off like he always does in overtime, wins it back to Sanderson. They get possession. They do a change. Stutzle comes on. Him and Brady go down and score. Is that what's going to happen?
No, I think they do the Seattle move, and then
3 up front.
Just boom. And you think Montreal's ready for it a second time?
So who are we doing? If you're going Seattle move, for people that hadn't seen it, Seattle played Montreal in overtime, and Montreal lined up Lane Hudson as a forward. So they went 3 across the line. Seattle countered with Brendan Montour, and then they chipped it ahead, and Montour blew by Hudson. So obviously, if we're going to do that, if Travis Green's doing that, you're running Jake Sanderson up there against Lane Hudson, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you're going to need.
Why not put Shabby? I could see him Thomas Chabot.
I like Jake Sanderson from a standstill, out of the blocks, kind of like a sprinter.
Oh, I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, out of the blocks. And if they lose it, he's going to get back too. So it's a no-brainer for me. I'm running the Seattle play on 2. Sanderson, chip it forward, Sanderson.
Okay. So everybody's in agreement that it's the Ottawa Senators game to lose here.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. There was something else I was supposed to bring up, but I don't remember. So I'm wondering if Jake can tell me. Don't forget to check online on our social accounts. We'll be announcing today I think there's I don't know what Eric's doing regarding tickets for tomorrow. So we're giving away tickets in the show tomorrow.
Congratulations, by the way, on the big Faces Award.
Thanks. We're all on Tuesday at Lone Star. I'll be taking everybody out as long as you're ordering the 2-for-1 fajitas.
Coupons.
Yeah.
next
and
next
water.
Week? Okay.
Well, we'll see. I got to save some money. I got to check the piggy bank. Yorkie, who's your MVP in the league this season?
My MVP.
Because of Leon Draisaitl's game of late.
Yeah.
And there's lots of talk about other players. I'm just curious of your thoughts.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of brought it up yesterday that you said you would give Cale Makar, but seriously.
So there's so many different ways you can look at this. You look at the McDavid factor in Edmonton, because when Draisaitl's on the ice and they're on the ice together, a lot of eyes are drawn on McDavid, and you see a lot of Leon coming in and off to that backdoor play. But I'm a huge Draisaitl guy. Once playoff time comes, Wally, I actually think he's Edmonton's best player in the playoffs. He's so good when the ice shrinks. And that's why you see him down the stretch playing like this. But I don't. So here's the thing. If I got a chance to watch the Colorado Avalanche as much as I watch the Ottawa Senators, I would have a clearer answer for you. You want to know anything about the Senators? I'll tell you anything about the Senators. But from the limited viewings I've seen of Cale Makar, every time I watch this guy, he controls the game. Only one other player plays more than him in the league right now, and that is Zach Werenski. And I think Zach Werenski's had a tremendous year. So I'll start with the Norris. Number one, if I had to vote for the Norris, I'm going Cale Makar. He just, for me, affects the game in so many different ways. Werenski's had a great year, and I'm not taking anything away with him, but I just find Makar controls the game both offensively, defensively, and he's had a superhuman year. And even with what Quinn Hughes has done, I think Makar is a better defender. I think he defends better, and I just think, man, and just watching him, and I know you can't count the best on best Four Nations Cup into your of who is your MVP, but for me, the best player at that Four Nations was Cale Makar. Like, I thought he was the best player on the ice, and so I'm a right shot D, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm extremely biased when I evaluate the importance of players. So I tend to look towards right shot Ds. But if I had to vote, Wally, I'm giving it to Cale Makar. He's my MVP. I'm going Cale Makar. I just think he affects the game greater than anybody else in the NHL right now.
If you had a choice to pick between Zach Werenski or Cale Makar to put on your team, if you had a draft choice, wouldn't everybody pick? Right. So why wouldn't he win the Norris? Right. Everybody's talking about Zach Werenski.
You get people saying, "Well, look at he's had an extraordinary year, and look what he's done." It's because people get used to. Well, this is what Cale Makar does. He's always like this. And then when something else jumps out at your page, you're like, well, you got to reward that guy, Zach Werenski, because he doesn't normally play at this level. So it's almost like those good teams and those good coaches that never get awards because you just expect it.
Right. It's like John Cooper.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not fair because
coach of the year.
Because it's so hard to continually do it year after year after year. But I just think even this year, Graeme, I don't know about you, I think Makar has even taken it to another level. Like when you watch him, like I'm sorry, there's no other defenseman in the league that can do the things he can do. There isn't.
Quinn Hughes?
Yeah, we'll get front row seats for Makar on Thursday. He's just a fantastic two-way player, right? And like he's got like 25 goals, I think, this season. Like he's on pace to get 30. Like it's for a defenseman who can play. Like, you know, I'm used to, like when I was growing up, you used to see like Mike Green post those kind of numbers in Washington. But you have like an excellent two-way defender in Makar, and it's just his ability to impact the game. It's just it's incredible to watch. But I don't know. You're talking league MVP candidates, and I guess for me it depends on your philosophy of like, would a guy like Connor Hellebuck, should he be eligible,
right?
Or do you believe like, or do you believe like the Vezina Trophy should be like that's the goaltender award? Don't lump goaltenders in with skaters.
Tell that to Carey Price and to Jose Theodore and Dominic Hasek. Like I think Connor Hellebuck should be considered for a Hart. Nathan McKinnon, by the way, is a name that we don't talk about enough. Who's leading?
Because we expect it.
Because we expect it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But Connor Hellebuck, to me, if you said that he won the MVP, I wouldn't be upset or surprised.
They have the most points in hockey, right? Winnipeg. So
his numbers are ridiculous.
Like I don't think anybody was anticipating them being like a President's Trophy contender, and for him to drag that team to the levels that they've reached this season, it's certainly commendable, because I think there are certainly more talented rosters across the league that should be probably higher up in the standings than them. But yeah, I think like McKinnon, Makar, Kucherov's had another really good year for Tampa. I don't think this is a very particularly strong Tampa team compared to like years past, but like he's kind of dragged them into the mix. And like Draisaitl's been incredible. I think Draisaitl's probably the top guy perhaps, but there's definitely some guys in the mix. And I think like it just depends on the philosophy of Hellebuck. I think a lot of people, if the voters don't believe a goaltender should be in that Hart conversation, I think like that's where he'll lose votes a little bit. But I would definitely put Hellebuck in the mix for sure.
You'd have Hellebuck as your guy, Graeme?
Probably just based off where Winnipeg is. I think you can argue He's had an incredible year, and like
for sure you could.
I think the problem with Draisaitl, like as you mentioned, it's just like you're splitting hairs a little bit with like McDavid. You're always talking about him being insulated a little bit, and it's not really fair to those guys because they're both exceptional players. But that's just kind of the reality of where they are.
You know, with if there's certain like everybody to play the kind of minutes you have to play. Even you watch Kucherov play, for example. Like players will conserve energies during shifts where they kind of go into, I call it hybrid mode, where you recalibrate when the puck's going the other way on the back check. Like Kucherov doesn't always back check the hardest. Like if you watch him play all the time, there's times in the game where Draisaitl will play sometimes 2 minutes every power play. Like think about that for a sec. Him and McDavid stay on the entire 2 minutes. It gets crazy. You watch the Sens.
Does that make him less than an MVP?
No, but I'm just going to tell you part of the reason why the point totals get so inflated. Just picture if you got an opportunity to get the entire looks on every power play, like and every single time there's an offensive zone faceoff, they change. Like those players, if you watch the Edmonton game, they've got a foot over the boards and they're looking at the coach when it's time to go on the ice because they want. Like and listen, that's what happens to Edmonton. That's why they always run into these problems because they continue to go back to that well, and it can win you a round or two. But all of a sudden, you get to the third round, you can't win in this league unless you have all your players going. So we'll see. But no, I'm a big Draisaitl guy, Wally. But when you watch Makar play, there's never any conserving going on. Like he doesn't go into that. Because you can't, because that position's too tough to play. You always got to be aware and moving and defending and playing offense.
He has 11 more goals than the next closest player in the National Hockey League. He's got 49 goals. No, Leon Draisaitl.
Is he 49 right now?
Yeah.
If Draisaitl wins the MVP, I have no problem. He's a freaking great player. Great player.
Yeah.
I just think defensemen don't get enough credit for that award. Because everybody always looks at points and stats.
And you know what's funny, though, Yorkie? We'll always say you always build your team from the D on out.
Right. And your goalie.
It's just a point. It's almost like a point. Whoever gets the most points and the team's been good, you get
Wally, because it is impossible for the guys that vote on these awards to watch all the games. There'll be guys voting on this award that have maybe saw a guy play once. Maybe once, and they'll
just looking at numbers. They just look at stats on a sheet. I agree with you. Back to the Sens for the moment. People have been asking in the chat about Nick Jensen, who missed the last game. I suspect he doesn't play tonight. I think the plan was to keep him out possibly a week to let him try and heal, somewhere around a week. So that could be today and then back. I he might miss Colorado too. So don't be shocked if he misses a week and then he's back in the lineup. I just think they're trying to manage his lower body injury, as they're calling it at the moment. That's one. Wow. Two, Nick Cousins, people keep asking about is, as he said on the show, he's expected to return the middle of April. That's the target. So there is no update. There's not skating. Yeah.
You've got the luxury now of giving Jensen a rest because the number 3 gutsy performer of the game last game for the Yorkie Vids award was Hammer Time. He had a massive game against Toronto. Like he was physical, throwing guys down, played 21 minutes. Like where did that come from, Graham? Just when you think they're taking Hammer out back to put him down, he comes back and has his game of the year against Toronto.
Rest is a weapon.
Rest is a weapon for Hammer Time. Yeah.
That was probably his best game of the season. Right?
Like, he was great. So
would have
good.
to be.
Who did he stand up at the blue line there with the big hit? Number 24 on Toronto. Who did he get there? It was a great hit. Like that's what you need, somebody to lay the boom like that, and then clearing the crease after Shabbat broke up that
Scott Laughton,
yeah, just threw him down. That's you love to see it from the old Hammer.
I'm just reading the comments. I apologize.
Gutsy. Wally, do you think this has legs?
No,
the gutsy 3 stars of the game. I like it.
Well, you're gonna have to just give people an excuse to try a little harder every game when they're supposed to try hard all the time.
Well, stay tuned after tonight's game. We'll have the gutsy performers once again, the top 3.
Graeme, where are you on the gutsy performer of the game?
I was going to Linus Ullmark you for a second there. You're like, Graeme, where are you? And I was going to take you literally and just say, I'm right here, Brent. I'm right here. No, I think for me, just watching the guys, like hearing about Jensen and his injury, just watching him play at the level he's playing at, like if he actually is like really badly injured, they have to manage this cautiously down the stretch. Like for him to come into the lineup when he does get in and play at the level he's playing at, just skating as well as he does, like to me, that's pretty incredible. To me, it's a bit unsung, and like the top 4 needs him consistently. I don't think you can expect to roll into the playoffs with Hamonic and Matt and Paolo in the bottom 2 pairings. Like you need only one of those guys should play, and they need Jensen healthy or as close to healthy as possible.
Absolutely. So, okay, we'll wrap it up with this because I know what people are going to say. If you go into game 1 of the playoffs and you're facing Florida or Washington, is it Matt and Paolo or Travis Hamonic as your third D pair?
Why are you ending the show like this? You can't end the show on this. We're going to ask this question like, all right, see you later, goodbye. Have a good night.
Gotta go. The light just goes off. Just a black, empty chair.
This is like a whole show. This is like for.
I think it's Travis Hamonic.
Of course, you love Hammer. He's your
no,
man.
I don't love.
I think you know what.
I have to at least give him some respect. Like I know people want to not give him any respect.
I think this is where chapter 2 of the Wally bromance goes off to. Josh is gone. No. Hammer time.
No.
Okay, I'll ask you another question. I'll follow up on that. If Calgary in the WHL, gets eliminated from the playoffs, is it Yakimchuk time?
No.
Yakimchuk over Hammer time. Ooh, Wally would not.
They're not adding another D, especially when they have Gilbert here. They're not like
right shot.
No.
Different element.
Matt and Paolo. Wow, you're really putting this question on us right now at 9:57. We've been on for 57 minutes.
I've only been on for 47 minutes.
We still got to get the other 15 minutes out of Graeme.
Yeah, I'll still be talking for 15 minutes while you guys are off air. It's just me.
He's going through the chat's just getting pounded. That can't be Hammer. Kane just came up in the chat, Wally, and saying she thinks it's the mustache.
Yeah,
I could see you going with a mustache. You and Hammer with matching mustaches.
Maybe I grow a mustache for the playoffs.
Oh man, do it.
Is it great?
This is turning into the cannonball into the pool. This is like, yeah, you're 100%.
You know what, Graeme? You're a bad influence. I don't know if you should be on the show anymore.
I'm just the pot stir, man. I'm just the pot.
Listen,
stir.
all I have to go on is all you have is what happened last game. And last game it was Hammer time. So if the playoffs started today, don't forget the teams would be rested. You would be leading off into game 1 of the series. So I think based on how he played, Hammer time would get the start. Your boy Hammer.
I agree. Listen, Yorkie, there's enough video evidence of previous shows where I have said I liked Nick, Matt, and Paolo's game, especially when I watched them in the playoffs. I just think in an NHL playoff game, you want a guy that's been there, and
you're a little bit biased. You just said you're thinking of growing a mustache, for God's sake.
It's for the people. It's for the people.
Now you have to do it.
I don't want to well, I don't really want to.
When you say mustache, like, how big are you going?
I guess till they're out of the playoffs.
Would you do handlebars?
No, that's too much work, Graeme.
What do you mean? You're just growing hair. That's no effort at all.
Oh, then you got to style it. I don't have time for that.
You don't need the Carlson. You don't need the Carlson wax on the ends. You just
it would take me like 3 years to get a mustache that big. So I don't need. It won't be as much.
So pirate look.
I've never had a mustache.
Carlson did the pirate look.
I can't wait. This is fantastic.
The pirate look.
Yeah, I could see you would be more of a wax tip mustache type of guy. I could see that because I can't see it with like the bushy thick. It'd be like kind of like a little what's this? Wally mustache and bikini. Sensation. Oh my god,
this show is out of control. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway, we've all just realized that we're taking Travis Hamonic over Nick Matten-Palo in game 1 of the.
You didn't ask Graeme.
No, I'm not on board with that. I've seen enough. But I like, to your point, like I think like Travis Green's shown a pattern of he'll give the vets an opportunity to play before making a decision. So I think like you would probably see him start a series, and if they lost the first game, for example, I think they'd make a switch. That'd be like the one easy switch that they can make to change the lineup. I think like I could definitely see Travis doing that. But
if it was you, Graeme,
absolutely not. Nope, don't do it.
Who's playing? You're bringing in Yakimchuk. You said Yakimchuk.
No, I was just throwing a wrinkle into the mix. You guys were pretty confident on Highmore, so I was just throwing a wrinkle in there.
So you're
going to play a kid who's just been playing in the dub.
They did that with Silverberg and Mark Stone. I'm not,
wait a second. Those guys were forwards.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between forward and a D playing in the National Hockey League game 1 of the playoffs.
One guy
you can play 11 forwards. You can play 10 forwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Mark Stone ended up setting up the game-winning goal, I will say, for that game. I believe it was Jason Spezza goal. He assisted. There's a big difference between putting Mark Stone and Carter Yakimchuk in a game.
Don't disagree, but I also think the true talent level of the guys playing ahead of him wouldn't be that big of a gap.
Oh, I disagree with you. I think that's a huge gap
between Travis Hamonic and Yakimchuk.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think
obviously very, very, very different games, and
I think if Ottawa was built differently, let's just say they had a couple of major injuries to their power play guys. Like you had no Sanderson, no Shabbat. You didn't have a lot of options for your power play. You say, let's dress the kid and see what he can do here. I remember the year McCarr came in and played in the playoffs for Colorado, played really well. But yeah, I think he's going to be a great player. I just think the people have no idea how big of a jump it is from junior hockey to the NHL, and the skill part of the natural abilities of moving the puck, making plays. That's not the issue. It's the defending. It's so tough.
That's so man strength.
Tough. But if I could see if Ottawa's at a different point and they just got in and they had some injuries and needed a little boost on the offense, I could see it. But they don't need that right now. But so we've got 2 hammers, 1 Matten-Palo. To answer your question,
Flash Yak. He really wants to say Yakimchuk, but doesn't want to be ridiculed.
No, he doesn't. he went Matten. Graeme went Matten-Palo. As soon as you asked about hammers, he said absolutely not.
I've been saying this for like 2.5 years. Absolutely not. But he keeps coming back.
It won't matter because Linus will have a shutout. All right, gentlemen. Our time has come to an end. Because I got to prepare. Tomorrow on the show, if you're joining us late, Tim Stutzle has agreed to be on 4 p.m. Live. So if you have some questions, put them in the chat. If you want to send me a DM or whatever, maybe do that too. I can help you out. If you got questions for the young Tim Stutzle. Anyway, we'll also give away tickets in the show. We got lots of stuff to do. So until then, have a great day, everybody. Thanks, Graeme. Thanks, Yorkie.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.